Little Woman was definitely one of my favorite films to come out of 2019. In this video, we're going to be talking about how color is used in the film, and please be advised there is both spoilers for the novel and the film in this video. If you have seen Little Woman, I'm pretty sure you can agree with me when I say that it was one of the strongest films to come out of 2019. Greta Gerwig once again proves she's an incredible filmmaker, making another very solid film. The film is adapted from the 1888 novel of the same name, and although in many regards Greta Gerwig adapts her film pretty closely to the original source material, there are some noticeable differences. For example, Jo's more ambiguous ending, and also the way she chooses to tell the film in a non-linear structure. Now in Greta Gerwig's screenplay, which she also wrote, she indicates the present scenes and sequences by using standard black text. However, if there's a scene or sequence that takes place in the past, she uses red text. This obviously creates a very bold, distinguishing visual representation when reading or viewing the screenplay. No matter what page you land on, you will be able to clearly distinguish whether or not you're reading past or present events by looking at what color the text is. This obviously works extremely well in a screenplay context, but how does this effectively come across on screen? How does Greta Gerwig now make this distinguishable to the audience? Well, she does it in a really beautiful way, with her use of color. The more warmer tones being the past, and the bluer tones being the present. The warmer tones for the past could represent the cherished memories that Jo has. Childhood, warmth, comfort, love, her family, her ambitions of becoming a writer, her dreams, and possibly even the narrative of the book she ends up writing. While the cooler tones for the present could represent the reality of life, the mundane, how Beth is slowly dying from illness, her dreams of being a renowned writer have not yet become fully realized, how her family are now split up and gone their separate ways, how childhood is now a moment and memory of the past. There's also a stronger argument to be made that the past sequences in the film are memories of Jo's that she has made better for the purpose of a stronger narrative for the book Little Woman, which she ends up writing in the film, remembering the more positive moments and aspects of her childhood.
So what I wanted to do was start the film I was making grounded in adulthood so that I could squarely center on this question of authorship, and particularly Jo March / Louisa May Alcott's authorship, and start with her trying to sell a story, and then go back and be able to create this tension when we see childhood is of that kind of idea of is that what happened, or is that what you remember, or is that what happened, or is that how you wrote it down? And I think that that's something I'm always interested in as a writer myself, as an artist myself, is taking the stuff of reality and then creating something else out of it, and the non-linear narrative allowed me to do that.
So rather, the warmer sequences in the film are the recalled memories of Jo, while the cooler tones are real life, outside of Jo's narrative. I'm not going to spend too much time here because I don't think it's that important, but it is interesting that this could possibly be an interpretation of the use of color in the film. Despite whether or not the warmer tones represent Jo's narrative or memories, the warmer color sequences in the film definitely indicate childhood, while the bluer tones, the cooler tones, indicate adulthood. The use of colors here help us as an audience distinguish where certain sequences and scenes are taking place, but it also invokes a feeling to us as an audience. Instead of the standard linear narrative usually associated with Little Woman, Greta Gerwig does something different, and the film has a poetic essence to it, seamlessly moving between the past and the present. The color tones here help us identify what the characters are feeling, the atmosphere, and the seasons of life the characters are in. Greta Gerwig could have easily just slapped a few title cards up here and there throughout the film to indicate to the audience where the story is at. Or she could have changed the appearance of certain characters, which I'll admit does happen to an extent when Jo cuts her hair. But Greta Gerwig does something rather more creative with the use of color, making an effective visual indication on the past, desired life that Jo had, and the dull, difficult life that Jo now has. Color is an effective way to indicate to an audience certain themes and tones in a film. Greta Gerwig's previous film Lady Bird also used colour really effectively. Another film that comes to mind is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which also isn't told in an entirely linear way, and we can distinguish moments of Joel and Clementine's relationship by looking at Clementine's iconic hair colours. Green being the start, growth of their relationship, the spring season. Red, love, passion, happiness, romance, warmth. Orange, the fall of their relationship, the autumn season. Blue, winter, the finality of their relationship, the death of their relationship, but also an indication of spring, which is to come. I could talk a long time about Eternal Sunshine, but we can save that for another video. Color is extremely important in movies and can be used as a metaphor or symbol. Little Women worked really well as a non-linear narrative, and that is definitely thanks to Greta Gerwig's excellent writing, but also because how her and her crew used color. What did you think about Little Women and its use of color? And are there any other films that stand out to you that use color really well and effectively? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you once again for joining me in today's video. Please remember, if you do like this sort of content, to consider subscribing and pressing the bell icons to be notified every single time I post, but obviously no pressure whatsoever. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.